and welcome to Inside Edition Travel. I'm Mara Montalbano. Hiking is a beloved activity, but it does carry some risk. Here are stories of how people survived in the woods.
This guy is lucky to be alive. He was out hiking when he fell 70 feet into a canyon. With broken bones and a fractured skull, he was unable to get help. Here's the incredible story of how he was saved.
This hiker fell 70 feet into a canyon and lived to tell the tale. Jacob Velarde was hiking along Indian Maiden Falls Trail in Arizona, known for its picturesque but rocky terrain. Then, in a flash, the trail fell apart beneath him. He landed 7 stories down.
1 second, I felt, everything fall beneath me, and then the next, I was already on the ground and hit my head on a rock.
Jacob crawled around in pain. Just look at the injuries on his face.
In that moment, did you think to yourself, no one's going to find me here?
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect to see any hikers at all.
Then a miracle. Eric Glomsky was hiking on that same trail with his wife and daughter.
We heard somebody kind of faintly yelling, I fell off a cliff. And then we came upon this guy on a rock under a tree along the stream who was clearly, messed up.
Eric ran for miles to get a cell signal to call for help.
I've come across a guy who fell down a cliff. He has a broken ankle, possibly broken wrist, head wounds front and back. He's conscious and lucid.
And this is the moment rescue teams saved Jacob, whisking him up to safety in a medical helicopter. He suffered skull and ankle fractures along with a broken nose, but he knows it could have been so much worse if not for his heroes.
They were amazing at taking care of me and getting me the help I needed.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
We're not sure. There's water everywhere.
2 buddies trapped in the Florida Everglades.
Up to our waist, and there's alligators and water moccasins everywhere.
Tom Riker and Ryan Crowder set out on an ambitious trek, hiking the entire Florida Trail from South Florida all the way up to Pensacola. 1,300 miles total.
That was definitely the adventure of a lifetime.
They made their way through razor-sharp sawgrass and trudged through ankle-deep water, posting videos to the 34,000 people following them on their Facebook page, Explorida. The swamp was their only source of water.
This is going to be our swamp soup.
For food, they brought along ramen noodles and beef jerky.
You want some?
But their adventure took a perilous turn when the trail unexpectedly led them into waist-deep water caused by this year's hurricanes. Making matters worse, they had no cell phone service. Danger was always lurking below, from poisonous snakes.
Okay, thankfully he's not coming at us.
To this guy.
There's an alligator in the trail ahead of us.
Gators were everywhere.
He's looking right at me.
Keep going, man. Just keep going. Alligator. This is really all we had out there to defend ourselves against predators.
They found themselves hopelessly stranded with no idea how many more miles of waist-deep water lay ahead. Then, as luck would have it, Tom picked up a faint cell phone signal and called 911.
We're completely out of food.
2 police choppers flew in and they were plucked from the swamp.
My girlfriend was worried, my mom was worried.
My mom, you could hear her jumping up and down, like, oh, you're right, you're alive.
2 friends grateful they made it out alive.
They very likely may have saved our lives.
This golden retriever named Groot is being hailed today for rescuing an elderly couple found after 8 days lost in the wilderness.
We did not expect to find him alive.
High school senior Quincy Webster, Groot, and his handler Rich Cassens are credited with saving the lives of Carol Kaparsky and her husband Ian Irwin, who vanished during a romantic Valentine's Day hike. Dozens of volunteers scoured the thick woods in Marin County outside San Francisco. Then, over the weekend, a miracle. Webster and Cassens heard their cries for help in the woods, and Groot led them right there. The couple were huddled in dense undergrowth.
And they were asked, like, are you real? They were so happy to see us.
Are you real? Because they thought it was a mirage at that point.
They said they thought they were done for.
The high school senior gave the exhausted couple spare jackets he keeps as part of his rescue gear, along with hats and gloves. Then he radioed the incredible news to headquarters. A chopper was the only way to get Carol and Ian out of the dense brush. They were airlifted to the hospital, suffering from hypothermia. Ian, a highly regarded Parkinson's disease scientist, was first. Then it was his wife's turn.
Gonna get you out of here, okay?
She's an author and linguist. Both gave a thumbs up from their hospital beds.
We said, when you get to the hospital, you'll be together, maybe in separate rooms, but you'll be together. And before they left, they kissed before Ian got airlifted out.
I'm going away. I'm not going to bug you. I'm going
Terrorizing moments as a hiker is stalked by a mountain lion.
Hey, I'm not going to bug you. I'm going away. I'm not going to bug you.
You can hear the panic in Jared Smith's voice as he tries to stay calm.
I promise. I'm just going away. I promise I'm not going to bug you.
He slowly backs away on the trail in Utah. Suddenly, the mountain lion charges.
I'm not going to bug you. I'm going away. I'm going away. I'm going away.
If you watch the video, my voice cracks and I sound kind of nervous. I was certainly thought it may not end well.
Fortunately, the mountain lion gave up, and Jared made it to safety.
I ran down the trail to get back to my car, and once I got there, I felt a rush of relief and overwhelming happiness that I was there and safe.
I'm going away.
It's a selfie taken by a hiker of his legs dangling over a cliff in a scenic area of California. He took the picture and then became lost. Well, it turns out that photo helped save his life.
A hiker goes missing, and this photo of his scraped legs dangling over a remote ledge is the only clue to where he is. The panicked hiker texted the photo to his roommate, stating he was lost and that his cell phone was dying. Right after he hit send, his phone died. His roommate says when he received the photo, he thought it was a joke, but when he couldn't reach his friend, he called cops.
It's late, as the sun's going down, and he's going to be out there, and it's going to be hard for anyone to locate him at that time. I'm lost.
A desperate appeal by authorities followed on Twitter. Need help locating a missing hiker? He sent this picture to a friend. Call us if you recognize the area. Hiker Renee Campion spent the night shivering in the cold, surrounded by menacing mountain lions and bears. He says he was starting to lose hope.
And I'm like thinking, God, this is my time, but I'm not ready.
AI6YR, anyone out there?
The next morning, ham radio operator and satellite mapping enthusiast Benjamin Kuo saw the photo and turned detective.
From the photo, if you look in the background, you can actually see there's a certain texture and pattern to what it looks like.
He says the remote landscape in the vast Angeles National Forest looked familiar. He pinpointed GPS coordinates that he hoped would lead rescuers to the missing hiker.
They popped out of the clouds, and he was right there. And it was within 3/4 of a mile of where I'd marked the GPS location.
I was yelling, like, help, help.
This dramatic footage shows Renee being hoisted up into the rescue helicopter. Inside Edition brought together the grateful hiker with the satellite map detective over Zoom.
I'm so grateful for what you did. I probably wouldn't be here if I was ended up there another day.
It is just such a blessing to have him home and with his family.
An injured woman is rescued by a helicopter after a terrible fall off Washington's Mount St. Helens, and her faithful dog is being hailed a hero today. 32-year-old Navy veteran Brittany Fintel was hiking to the summit of the volcano with her German Shepherd when she slipped on ice. She plummeted 300 feet down a steep slope strewn with jagged rocks.
Once I slipped, I thought I was dead. I thought that was pretty much the end of me.
Her loyal companion scurried to her aid.
Indiana, come on. Indy, let's go.
That's right, the hero dog's name is Indy, as in Indiana Jones.
We named the dog Indiana. You are named after the dog?
Got a lot of fond memories of that dog.
Brave Indy stayed with Brittany the entire time, 5 hours, comforting her, keeping her warm.
He was like the first on the scene. And he like pretty much helped me so that I didn't go into shock and everything, like licked my face and, you know, my hand wounds and everything.
They were spotted by other climbers who came to Brittany's aid. She was airlifted off the mountain by a Coast Guard helicopter. Wearing protective goggles, Indy watched as his beloved owner was flown to the hospital. He was brought down on foot. And faithful Indy is still by her side today, keeping her company in the hospital as she recovers from her injuries.
Indy, you know, being amazing, it was pretty much nothing short of like a miracle.
More Inside Edition travel when we come back.
Here's a question. Why is this dog spinning in circles, dragging a broom around and around and around? Well, why not?
Welcome back. Earlier, we told you how a hiker survived after being stalked by a mountain lion. But would you know what to do if something like that happened to you? Here's what you need to know.
2 hikers are about to have a shocking encounter as they come around a bend. It's a mountain lion, still as a statue, glaring down at them. He blends right in with the background. Now listen as the hikers debate what to do next.
Are we supposed to do back up?
I don't know.
What are you supposed to do?
I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to run or go away from it.
The ferocious cat looks like it's ready to pounce.
Be careful. Just whistle if it comes at us.
I can't find it.
Back up.
So would you know what to do in a similar situation? Of these options, which would you pick? Run, make a loud noise, stand your ground, slowly back away.
Be loud, be big.
Tom Sloth, president of the Columbus Zoo, is an expert on mountain lions.
Once the hikers did get to around the corner and see that the mountain lion was right above them, that's when they need to back away. They need to take their jackets off. They need to clap real loud.
Brian McKinney and Sam Vanderhyde are the hikers who filmed that chilling video at Sequoia National Park.
We didn't want to turn our back to it. And we didn't want to move quickly. We were trying to remain very calm. I think we did a pretty good job. We talked to rangers and they all said, you did all the right things.
Back up.
No break.
This kid is on the adventure of a lifetime. He's ziplining through the breathtaking rainforest of Costa Rica. Suddenly, he comes to a screeching halt. Something is blocking his path.
Don't worry, don't worry.
It's a sloth. I just clocked it straight in the face.
Yup, it's a sloth just hanging out on the zip line.
Do we just wait?
13-year-old Nathan Raymer had the wild run-in.
I was afraid, but then once it started crawling away, I'm like, this is a memorable moment. I'll remember this the rest of my life.
On the zip line, the sloth is just hanging out, upside down. And he stayed there for 15 minutes before getting out of the kid's way. Talk about slothful behavior.
Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry.
It's a sloth.
Yeah.
I just clocked it straight in the face. Ooh.
It's the thrill of a lifetime, zooming along on a zip line. It's so popular, this bride and groom made a grand entrance on a zip line. But zip lining can be dangerous. Actor Hugh Jackman made a spectacular appearance at an event in Australia in 2010. Then this happened. He crashed into lights. He was lucky. Earlier this week at a state park in Delaware, 59-year-old Tina Werner plunged 35 feet to her death off a zipline platform.
Let's use the CPR on a long fall.
Her heartbroken daughter, Melissa, posted this photo from her wedding day. My mom died completing her bucket list. This is truly the hardest situation that I have ever faced. I ask for your prayers for my family, she wrote. The zipline was operated by Go Ape Treetop Adventure. We are very saddened by the events, the company says. At the time of the accident, the participant had unfortunately disconnected herself from the safety system. Signs advising riders to always stay attached are posted all along the route. In 2008, this young man's arm was severed when it got wrapped around a homemade zipline. It was reattached, but is now 3 inches shorter. Now another heartbroken family is learning how dangerous zip lines can be.
Imagine going for a hike and being rescued by a TV star. Well, one hiker had exactly that happen to her.
Modern Family star Julie Bowen has a lot of fans, but her biggest is probably the lady she met while hiking in Utah. The woman fainted on the trail, and when Bowen and her sister, who just happens to be a doctor, came upon the situation, Les Trent says they immediately did what was needed to help the lady.
It doesn't get more majestic than this. Arches National Park in Utah.
I was obsessed because it's red and it's just so unique.
Minnie John couldn't wait to hike the park with her husband and son. It was 100 degrees when they started the hike. At one point, her husband asked if she was okay.
Trying to make it.
But an hour and a half in, she started feeling lightheaded.
I don't think I can go anymore. I'll just wait here and rest.
Her husband and son continued on. Minnie sat down and then promptly fainted.
And I kept hearing, ma'am, are you okay? You know, you're fine. You're going to be fine. I've got a doctor here. She's going to take care of you. All's well.
Minnie's eyes were closed. She just heard a voice.
I said, hi, do I know you? This is how I started. Do I know you? You sound so familiar.
Now Minnie opened her eyes. She stared at her rescuer.
I just hit my head. I can't remember. So then she says, Modern Family, and that's of course.
Yep, it was Modern Family star Julie Bowen.
Traffic.
The Emmy-winning actress was on vacation at Arches with her 3 boys and her sister, Annie Lukenmeyer, a doctor. They stopped when they saw Minnie in distress. They cleaned Minnie's wounds and bandaged her. Julie even played traffic cop.
I heard Julie directing other people who were coming by to just go on ahead. We've got a doctor here. She's going to be fine.
This disembodied voice that you heard in your head turned out to be this big TV star.
Right.
What do you think?
What are the odds of that happening?
A terrifying story of a man who spent 40 hours trapped in a national park after he broke his leg and was unable to walk through the rough desert terrain to get help.
Help! Help! A desperate cry for help as an injured hiker is left stranded in the desert with no one around for miles.
My problem is I can't stand, I can't turn, I can't sit, I certainly can't walk.
Robert Ringo was hiking in the Joshua Tree National Park in the Mojave Desert, the temperatures reaching a scorching 106 degrees when he fell on rocks in the rugged terrain. With no cell service, the 67-year-old turned his camera on himself to record what he feared might be his last days.
Probably nobody will ever see this.
He tried to crawl his way to his car. It was parked less than a mile away, but his pain was unimaginable.
You can see how my foot is just flopping.
Ringo survived eating juniper berries. Fortunately, he also had extra water and made a canopy out of his hat, but supplies were running low. His predicament was growing more dire by the minute. After 40 excruciating hours, help finally arrived.
It was a miracle. 40 hours later, a helicopter's here and I'm here, and I couldn't see his eyes, but I knew we met.
At any point, did you think nobody is going to find me?
When I parked in my car to go to the walk, I sent my location to my son, but there being no cell signal, he had no idea.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. I mean, extremely well, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And physically, I'm doing great.
Help!
A hiker who went missing for several days has been found alive and well.
I cannot explain the how, delight. It's a very close friend, to survive.
73-year-old Gab Zong was hiking along Mount Pinos in California. All of a sudden, a winter storm rolled in.
I just know that the snowstorm was just such a random occurrence. I feel like he was not prepared for because we thought he was going to be home early evening.
When Zong wasn't home by midnight and his phone went to voicemail, his family became worried and called police. Search teams went looking for him on the ground using four-wheelers, and they searched from the air as well. Then, good news.
Gab Zong has been located safe, in good condition. He was located in the Lockwood Valley area by a private citizen.
The sheriff's office says Zong was found at someone's home. It's unclear how he got there.
The Grand Canyon, one of the most spectacular sights in America and one of the deadliest. 3 people have fallen to their deaths in just 8 days, one near the famous skywalk.
I want to stage at the helibase in case we need to do a short haul if this person still is alive.
We got a 0 tolerance, got 3 warnings,
Unfortunately, you're going to be asked to leave.
Extra guards are on duty today at the spot where one tourist fell last week, warning people to stay at least 10 feet from the canyon edge.
Sir, he told you to come back up this way. If you want to come up, then you're going to have to leave.
Everybody's be more careful, and you got to watch your feet whenever you're walking, stay away from the edges.
That's too scary.
Authorities say tourists are taking too many unnecessary risks to get those majestic photos.
They're just not processing how dangerous it is. They're more focused on the photo op.
Michael P. Guillieri wrote Over the Edge about accidents in the Grand Canyon.
The victims that we see are generally people who made really not so smart mistakes. I know it's very unflattering and uncharitable to say that.
Just come back.
In 2017, this man climbed a barrier to get a closer look down the canyon. Moments later, he plunged over 100 feet.
Oh my gosh, we told him to come back up.
And look at this.
I was scared.
These tourists barely make it back alive after taking photos on a hard-to-reach ledge. Incredible risks for a single stunning shot.
They made it.
He just hiked the Appalachian Trail, and he's starting kindergarten on Friday.
This little guy may be the youngest adventurer to hike the entire Appalachian Trail. He's only 5.
What do you think?
Awesome. Harvey Sutton completed the hike with his parents, Cassie and Josh.
We actually watched a YouTube video about a kid that hiked the whole thing just under 6. And I'm a little competitive, so I did the math. I'm like, hey, in 2021, we could hike the trail, and Harvey would be the youngest or beat him. And it started out as a joke, and then we told too many people, so now we had to do it at that point.
It was hard. We just did a lot of practice hikes and just figured it out as we went.
And what a trek it was. The family started their historic journey at the beginning of the trail in Georgia back in January and completed the 2,190-mile hike to the very end in Maine. Total time, 209 days.
Harvey, what did you do when you got to the finish line? Do you remember?
Took pictures.
Didn't you raise up your hands?
Raised up my hands and screamed.
So, what kept such a little guy going and going?
I have my sleeping bag, and my toys and coats. And all I want to do is...
Harvey brought along lots of sweets to keep his energy up.
What was your favorite snack to eat on the trail?
Skittles.
Now, this 5-year-old trailblazer is ready to blaze another trail again.
The first thing he said when we were finished is, oh, can we go down to Georgia and start it all over again?
Thanks for watching. There's more Inside Edition coming up.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do. Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.
I feel amazing.
Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.
Welcome back. The hit Netflix series Stranger Things is bringing tourism to a small Georgia town. Take a look.
This is Hawkins. I know the worst thing that's ever happened here in the 4 years I've been working here was when an owl attacked Eleanor Gillespie's head because it thought that her hair was a nest.
A small southern town is seeing a boost in tourism because of Stranger Things.
I know, it sounds crazy.
Stranger Things may be set in the fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana, but the real town seen in the wildly popular Netflix series is actually downtown Jackson in Georgia. An hour southeast of Atlanta, it's a convenient drive for fans of the show who want to feel like they're part of the scene.
We were going on a Tennessee trip, and my aunt saw the Stranger Things place, and we all love Stranger Things, so we said, well, why not go here?
It's fun to see the kids so excited because they really are getting into it. The outfits, the clothes, they're excited to see the places that were filmed in the show, so it's like a little adventure.
And with an estimated population of around 5,000, businesses in Jackson appreciate these visitors.
We've seen our sales go up, we've seen a lot more people come in, and all of the people that come to see where Stranger Things was filmed, they're all friendly. We love people coming in to see where it was filmed.
Lucy Lou's Coffee Cafe even came up with a special menu to welcome them to town.
We wanted to add something Stranger Things related because we started seeing a lot of tourists coming in.
As long as these fans don't bring with them supernatural experiences, it seems they'll continue to be welcome.
Here we go! Ever wanted to live a day inside your favorite video games? Hello! Gamers now have an opening date for Super Nintendo World. Universal Studios Japan had planned to delight guests with larger-than-life-sized attractions based on the popular gaming consoles in the spring of 2020, hoping to grab tourists traveling to Japan for the Tokyo Olympic Games. Both the games and the opening of Super Nintendo World were pushed back due to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, February 4th, 2021 is the day Universal Studios Japan plans to open Super Nintendo World to the public. For the new attraction Mario Kart Koopa's Challenge, riders will wear specially designed augmented reality headsets that put them right inside the game.
This will immerse the guests in the world of Nintendo, where they ride right alongside of Mario, Peach, and Bowser.
Universal Studios Japan is currently operating at half capacity to curb the spread of COVID-19. So many gamers will have to wait a little longer to see what this reportedly $580 million collaboration between Universal Studios and Nintendo looks like up close.
That's the Mouseketeers singing the praises of River Country, Disney World's very first water park. River Country. The water park opened in 1976, but the fun wouldn't last forever. River Country was shut down in 2001. And here it is today, a land without people. These dramatic pictures were taken just a few weeks ago by photographer Seth Lawless.
The images that I took show a complete abandonment of a once thriving Disney water park, where there's water slides covered in vines and plants and flowers and just walkways and places that are completely overgrown, just completely abandoned and forgotten.
Disney World shut down River Country after the splashier water parks Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon grew in popularity. But River Country was never demolished. Like a land that time forgot, it's still there, right smack in the middle of Disney World, but masked by jungle and overgrowth.
I think that is creating an environment for alligators to thrive, to live peacefully, and to go undetected.
Did you see alligators?
Yes, but I saw several, over the course of shooting. Yes, absolutely. Throughout the whole area, peacefully sitting there in the sun, just bathing.
Look at this satellite image of Disney World. There's River Country, abandoned, forgotten. As you can see, it's right on Bay Lake. Follow the canal, and where do you end up? At the Seven Seas Lagoon, the scene of the horrific alligator attack on 2-year-old Lane Graves. An easy swim for any gator hunting for food or prey.
I think the alligators can thrive in these parts. I mean, why wouldn't they? They can go up on land, they can go into the water relatively unnoticed. They're going right through these abandoned sections that Disney personnel don't go in, and no one goes in.
Lane Graves' father, Matt, was a champion wrestler in high school, but even he was no match for the alligator that snatched his little boy from the Disney World beach. 1,400 miles away in New Hampshire, this dad has unique insight into the anguish the Graves family is going through. When he was 8 years old, he was attacked by an alligator while vacationing at Disney World. He still has the scars. It happened in 1986. Paul Santamaria was feeding ducks at this pond when the 7-foot gator pounced.
It hit me, knocked me down, and then turned its head and grabbed my leg. That was thrashing me around and trying to pull me into the pond.
Paul, his brother, and sister fought for their lives.
My sister grabbed me under the arms and started to have a tug of war with this alligator. And my brother had started to look for anything he could find to throw at it or hit it with. And with my available leg, I started kicking at the alligator's head.
Paul was hospitalized for a week. Mickey Mouse and Snow White paid a get-well visit.
This laceration here had it actually had a tooth embedded in my thigh, which was pushing on my artery.
Paul says his heart breaks for little Lane Graves, who wasn't as lucky as he was all those years ago.
It sent a chill up my spine.
We got a rare look at Six Flags New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina forced it to close.
I'm gonna make an attempt to climb to the top of this old roller coaster. Believe it or not, this is the way I have to go. I'm wading through a swamp and climbing a rusty old roller coaster to get a better view of a land that time forgot. It was once a place of happiness and laughter. Now it's abandoned. From this view, you can really see it's like a wasteland up here. Just a shell of what it used to be. You got an ice cream shop here. You can see graffiti. You gotta watch, there's broken glass. It used to be Six Flags New Orleans, one of the nation's premier theme parks. Then came Hurricane Katrina. The line from the flooded water, the standing water line, went up this high. The bumper cars are actually a good example of how the park here in New Orleans just literally stopped in its tracks after the storm. When the park closed in August 2005, the hurricane was looming offshore. It was assumed the amusement park would reopen a few days later. Obviously, that never happened. This was the entrance to the roller coaster, the Zephyr, and you can see just how overgrown all of this is now. There are no trespassing signs, but we had special permission from the city of New Orleans to explore the 140-acre grounds. Six Flags has given up on the park. There are no plans to rebuild. And then, of course, the Ferris wheel is still standing largely intact, and actually it still spins in the wind. For now, this abandoned theme park is a sad reminder of what once was. It looks like an action-packed water park. But believe it or not, this is someone's backyard.
You'll really never get bored of this pool.
Kelly Cavanis built the elaborate water park for an Oklahoma family. Care has been taken to keep everyone safe. The boulders are stacked outward so you can't hit the rocks when you leap off.
We don't want anybody getting hurt.
Let's go, water slide.
There's also a water slide that twists and turns and dumps you right into the pool. But some of the self-made backyard theme parks can seem, well, kind of rickety. In Austin, Texas, this man tried out his friend's water slide. It did not end well. Look at it again in slow motion. He sent sailing right over the rim. He suffered a broken arm and fractured ribs.
You've got to come see the backyard.
Brooke Newsom's stunning Oklahoma home opens to a virtual wonderland, and it has been designed with safety in mind.
Vacations have kind of stopped for us because we're all like, well, we just walk out in our backyard.
It's non-stop adventure for her son Cade and his friends. The amazing backyard is built over 3 levels. There's a hot tub.
It's awesome.
And a mid-level pool to splash around in. Below the waterfall, another pool and a rope swing. As night falls, the backyard comes to life with a million color light combinations. That's when the grown-ups come out for an evening of relaxation, if the kids will let them.
All dressed in white has a slightly different meaning now. A couple in Bolivia tied the knot on top of the Illimani Mountain, the highest mountain in the Cordillera Real of western Bolivia. It took Johnny Pacheco and his bride Heidi Paco 3 days to climb to the top of the mountain in the Andes from La Paz. Clearly visible from Bolivia's capital, La Paz, Illimani's eternal snows are frequently referenced in the music, mythology, and literature of the indigenous Aymara people. Although atop the snow-capped mountain, the bride and groom weren't exactly bundled up. Johnny clad in his suit, Heidi in a sleeveless wedding dress. A fellow mountaineer who officiated the wedding says Johnny and Heidi are nature and mountain lovers, which is why they chose the unusual locale for their nuptials. The ceremony was more than 21,000 feet above sea level on the mountaintop. The officiant said that makes them very close to heaven and close to God, blessing them from the top of the Illimani Mountain.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more Inside Edition streaming.
Up in the air fly these deer. A helicopter carries deer taken from the mountains in Utah. Staff will carry out medical assessments and equip each deer with a GPS tracking device before letting them safely go back into the wild. The Utah Division of Wildlife Resources flies about 1,200 deer per year, using the GPS to track their migration patterns.
Hello and welcome to Inside Edition Travel. Road trips can be a fun way to travel, and these stories about memorable road trips prove it.
These are some memorable road trips. In 2019, 3 guys set a new cannonball record. In one car, they raced across America going from New York City to California in, get this, 27 hours and 25 minutes. The coast-to-coast trip covered 2,825 miles. The average speed was 103.1 miles per hour. The top speed was clocked in at a mind-blowing and dangerous 193 miles per hour.
We don't pass people at super high speeds. Here's the thing. If you drive recklessly, people are going to call the police.
The drive started in Manhattan. Then they proceeded through the Lincoln Tunnel, speeding through New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, and finally California, only stopping 3 times for fuel and bathroom breaks. This cannonball run was first popularized in the 1981 Burt Reynolds movie.
Inside the car, we're running a phone on the left that runs Waze for navigation. Bottom right is a police scanner. We've got a 45-gallon fuel tank additional in the trunk.
They even called ahead before stopping for gas.
It's like a fire drill. Even at one stop, we actually had somebody waiting with 2 pumps in their hands, ready to go.
2 men shared driving responsibilities. The 3rd guy acted as a lookout to detect speed traps. Remarkably, they were never pulled over.
This is Noah being silly and seeing the falls. It's really windy.
In 2019, Noah Alderson had the time of his life on a road trip cross-country. The 4-year-old from Spokane, Washington, was born with multiple heart defects and needed life-saving surgery. But the hospital for the procedure was all the way in Boston, Massachusetts, 2,700 miles away.
When we found out that that was going to be the only option, our hearts just sank as parents. Just thinking of losing our little boy was heartbreaking for us.
Since Noah relied on machines to keep him alive, a normal vehicle or a plane was not an option. So the company Outdoorsy donated an RV to help him get there. Along the way, Noah's family got to do some sightseeing.
Noah, what do you think of the fishies? You'll see baseball? Yes.
We got to go to a Chicago Cubs game. We got to take him down on the field at Wrigley.
So awesome. What do you say, buddy? Thank you.
That is just, I think, every little boy's dream. It turned it into this family adventure that helped us forget for a little while that our son was sick. So it's just a gift that I can never thank everybody enough to give us this amazing gift.
High five! Ah!
In 2021, these 3 ladies went on a road trip. No biggie, except they all had something in common. The same boyfriend. Becca, Abby, and Morgan were all dating the same dude. Unfortunately, it was at the same time.
I saw comments on his social media and I would see names on his phone sometimes, so I did a little bit of a deep dive research on this one girl. He had just left my house like 2 hours before, and I kissed him goodbye and everything, and I thought everything was good.
They confronted the cheating boyfriend, then learned there was one more, Becca King.
Me and one of the other girls and Abby confronted him. He came to my house. And then from there, we found out about Becca. It was just really overwhelming.
But then something weird happened. They all got together and realized they liked each other.
It just so happened to be that like we're all really similar.
They told their cheating ex-boyfriend to hit the road. They also hit the road, literally. They bought an old bus, fixed it up, and set out on the cross-country adventure to heal from their heartbreak. In 2019, lifestyle expert Erica Katz had some helpful hacks to make road trips easier. First, keep a cooler handy.
You can pack cold drinks, sandwiches, anything you want, and then you can use it like a table. If you get tired, pull off to the side of the road and find somewhere quiet. And then take your raft out of the trunk, throw it in the back seat of your car, and then you'll have a nice cozy bed.
And if you have a car full of kids,
when you have to sit in traffic in a road trip, the kids can get really antsy.
Here's a hack. Fill up an empty coffee creamer container with cereal. Or this.
Try filling a container with peanut butter and celery. It's delicious and the kids will love it. Don't have a lid for your drink? Use some plastic wrap to put on your drink. Make it nice and secure. No spills. You never want to go on a road trip without a set of jumper cables, just in case you break down.
There you have it. Helpful tips for your next road adventure.
Welcome to Camp Hugo. Hugo.
This 11-year-old spent her summer turning the inside of this camper from this to this.
I was looking through an American Girl magazine and I saw a camper for $650 for an American Girl, and it was a very nice camper. My dad said that was really expensive for us, so he said that we could get a real camper for that amount of money. So then I went out and I started looking for one. We saw down the road a house had a camper for sale that I had been looking at for a while. So I really wanted to get it, and the guy said it was for $500, and then I told him $400 because that was what I had, and he said sold.
And the total cost of renovations thus far? $400.
We had looked on Pinterest and saw a lot of cool camper ideas, and I like this beachy bow house style with lots of plants and different colors and sea glass and driftwood, that style. So I like that, and we decided to paint the camper walls white and then our kitchen cabinets turquoise. So this is my dining area. I got this from our potting shed that had dust and dead flies all over it, so we cleaned it up and that's what we got. We planted some plants from Dollar General in there. We have all of this on the back side came from our house except for that one picture back there from Dollar General. And a fun fact about these this table and these cabinets, they flip down into a bed, and so does this. And then over here we have the kitchen, where we can't quite cook stuff yet, but it's very decorative. And this is our refrigerator. This is the inside of it. And then if we walk a little further down, we have right here. These are very nice decals that we got for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And then if we walk a little bit farther in here, we have a mirror that we painted the edges that came with the camper originally. And we have a closet over here, and it says Lauren's Little Camper. I got this sign from my neighbor who made it for me. And then we keep walking, and now we're in the bedroom. So we have 4 beds in here, and we got these really cute mattresses off of Etsy.
She painted most of it herself. She had her grandma come over the one day and help with the cupboards, but I would be gone for the day and I'd come home and she'd say, like, you could tell, and I'd say, how long were you in here? And she's like, oh, I painted about 4 hours straight.
Well, I'm very creative and artistic, so I love to paint and draw and stuff like that, so it kind of came to me naturally.
With this COVID thing, it's kind of interrupting her fun that she wants to have in it, but just making the best of it.
Lauren hopes to be able to have friends over soon, but a chance to get away from home works for now.
I hope you enjoyed my camper tour. Thanks for stopping by.
So enough talking, let's get in the water and check it out, guys.
Dallas Rowley really loves diving for lost treasure. On this adventure, he found sunglasses and jewelry. They're mostly from tourists who go tubing on the Salt River in Arizona and drop things. But he never expected to find this.
I just found my very first iPhone X.
I just thought it was a regular iPhone 7 or 6 or whatever. I turned it over and I saw the lens, and that's how you can tell it's a 10. And I just freaked out. I was so excited.
He was certain it couldn't possibly work, but he was in for a big surprise.
So I let it dry out for about 3 days. And this tub of silica gel beads. Here's the moment of truth. Oh my gosh, this thing still works. Hello?
Hi. Dallas tracked down the owner, and here she is. Her name is Alyssa King, and she lives in Pensacola, Florida. She dropped the phone while tubing on vacation.
We do have your phone. Oh
my God!
Yeah.
It was like, your phone's working. I tried it out, and I was just like, no, that is just, it's a miracle. It really is.
He packed it up and sent it off, recording every step of the process.
All right. Oh my God! That is amazing.
Alyssa is especially thankful because she had all her daughter's baby pictures stored on the phone. And get this, she hadn't backed them up and thought the photos were lost forever.
And I had her videos, her pictures, so I was like, oh my gosh, it was hard.
Alyssa offered Dallas a reward.
He wouldn't even take any money or anything.
I was holding back the tears myself. I felt her pain after she lost it, and I saw her joy after she got it back. So that was really awesome for me.
That is amazing.
More Inside Edition travel right after this.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.
I feel amazing.
Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.